If you look up pointless, useless remakes in the dictionary, you might get a few bullet point examples. One of which, for sure, other than, Fog, Amityville Horror, etc., The Omen, Psycho. You're also going to come across 2007's The Hitcher, which I revisited last night. Because I watched the 1986 original with Rutger Hauer, which is a very, very good psychological thriller that is very underrated and overlooked from that era. So of course it had to be remade. And not only did it have to be remade, this is Platinum Dunes. Which, Platinum Dunes, they did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Amityville Horror, Friday the 13th. Now, Chainsaw Massacre, fine. Friday the 13th is actually a fun reboot. Amityville Horror was useless. But I might say this one's even worse than Amityville. Because this movie brings nothing new. This is one of those cases where, because even Eric Reed even gets, it says based on the film written by Eric Reed. And Eric Reed even gets screenplay credit. Why? Because so much of his original 1986 film is used in this. So much of the dialogue is in this. And everything it does change is just like they don't understand what made the 86 original work and what made that effective. Or if they did, they're like, well, fuck it, let's try the opposite, see what happens. You get a shitty ass movie like this. Okay, so you have Zachary Knighton as Jim Halsey. Yeah, they even had the balls to call him Jim Halsey. Only Jim Halsey is not the main character in this one. I mean, yeah, it's 50-50. Because he is with his girlfriend in this one, Grace. Yeah, at least they didn't call her Nash. She's played by Sophia Bush. I don't know who either one of those actors are. But, yeah, she's more so the lead. Why? Just because they make her a typical final girl in this. And other than the chilling Rutger Hauer, which, again, may he rest in peace. That's why I reviewed The Hitcher, because that's my favorite film of his. You get Sean Bean. Which, yeah, Sean Bean is known for playing a villain or a bad guy in many things. And he's also known for dying in many things. But this, he is nothing compared to Rutger Hauer. The only thing is, okay, maybe slightly, kind of has a look. Actually, I even take that back. No. He can't even look intimidating. He looks bored most of the time. Just, there's nothing moderately scary or, I don't buy him as a psycho. This criminal mastermind. That Hauer was. And I don't even really need to go into the plot. The only difference is, okay, they're going to spring break. They've been dating, they're together, and it's raining. They stopped for some reason. Like, he was standing right out in the middle of the road. So they have to like swerve and then they stop. The girlfriend's all creeped out, tells him to go. And then later on at the gas station, the Hitcher walks in. Who, yeah, they of course named him John Ryder. So then the clerk at the convenience store, who I think the actor's name is Kyle Davis. He was that redneck stoner from Friday the 13th reboot, the one with the lazy eye. He was also in season 6 of Dexter. Yeah, he's the one that was like, hey, you're going the same way. Give him a ride. And then just the whole thing about, he starts saying, he doesn't talk about how he's killed people. He starts saying things about the girlfriend that, like, how long you been fucking her? And that's when he pulls out the knife and does the whole I want to die. They kick him out. And, like in the same thing with the original. See Thomas Howell kicks him out and he screams like, fuck you, butthead. And then in this, he's like, fuck you, asshole. Oh, so we're going edgier. And then everything is the fucking same. I mean, you have the family with the kids in the back. The Hitcher's there. They try to warn him. The only difference is when they catch up to him later, the dad is still alive. And they try to keep him alive. And, everything else is the same. They get put in jail cells. The police department gets, wiped out. And they have to escape. And then, there's the fucking chase with the helicopter. Which, even though I said I'm not the biggest fan of, like, 80s style, like, scores for music, like synths and stuff, that made more sense than the Help Me Fuck You Like an Animal song by 9 Inch Nails. Like, why? I don't understand why that's playing. It doesn't really fit. And, oh yeah, of course, and then they change this because they have to make the female the lead. They have to make her the final girl, the heroine. They make Jim Halsey, the boyfriend, the one that's chained up from the truck to the trailer. And same thing. He puts the gun to his head. She says she can't do it. He's like, you're completely useless. But like in the original, they didn't have to show Jennifer Jason Leigh getting ripped in half because that scene was so full of tension. This, no tension is built, and they showed the boyfriend getting ripped in half. Terrible CGI. Which, yeah, he gets ripped in half, like half at the waist or the torso. You would think just the limbs would come undone, but whatever. And then also just her stupidity is... I think I was like falling asleep because I was watching this late last night. Like, the whole thing about when they're transporting the Hitcher by bus. Oh yeah, it shows how he, got the upper hand. He, slid the cuffs all the way off his wrist and cut and fucked the skin on his hand up. He used the cuff to slit a cop's throat. It's like, what made the original work? The original is like Jaws on the road. Okay, that's what the original is. what you don't see is more effective. This movie, they show you fucking everything, and you couldn't care less. However, she feels, like, well, I have to go kill him. She gets the sheriff. Something happens to the truck, so the sheriff is pinned, so the Hitcher can kill him. So, and it was her fault. I just don't remember how it happened. At least Jim Halsey, in the original, made him get out. And then he drove to the bus so the sheriff wouldn't get hurt. But no, she's fucking stupid. But then she shoots him right in the head, and then end credits. And of course, it's produced by the same three guys: Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller. Andrew Form and Brad Fuller, every behind the scenes, they're sitting together. And they always just talk, like, they just have this way of talking, like, well, we knew exactly what the fans wanted, and we knew this film was going to be very, very, we are right about this, and, like on the Amityville one, they're saying, like, well, after the success of Chainsaw Massacre, like, we looked at Amityville like, this is the next movie that we have to do, and we knew how to do it right. It's like, no, you don't. It's like, they're shitty remakes. Nothing about this movie works. There's a reason why it's forgotten. No one talks about it. This movie, other than, like, the language, this movie just reminds me of another pointless, like, date movie. Like junior high or high school. You're over at, like, your girlfriend's house and parents rent it for you because it's, it's so fucking scary. It's not. I know that was oddly specific, but yeah, just this movie doesn't deserve to call itself The Hitcher. It literally could have been called, well, it could have been called anything else because everything's the fucking same. It's not quite Gus Van Sant's Psycho, but it's pretty fucking close. And yeah, I hate this remake. It's a piece of shit. It's forgettable. CGI, bad casting, bad acting, and the original is way fucking better. So, fuck this movie. Anyway, thank you for watching.